Today we're going to talk a little bit about measurement conversions, specifically looking at liquid measurements. And one of my favorite tools to remember is Gallon Man. So to make one solid gallon, you can divide this out into 4 quarts. Quart, like quarter, there are 4 of them that all go together. Each quart can be divided into 2 pints, and then each pint has a cup. 2 cups come off of 1 pint. So 2 cups together make a pint, 2 pints together make a quart, 4 quarts together make a gallon. So that is Gallon Man, and here we're going to demonstrate that. So I have here a gallon of water. Milk usually comes in gallons, and you can see here that this jug has also been marked out into fluid ounces. We also have it in cups, and you can see it marks 16 cups total. You can also see pints. Yes, I know it looks like pints, but it is pronounced pints. And there are 8 of them in a gallon. And then there are 4 quarts in a gallon, 4 of them here. And altogether, that makes up 1 gallon. Now, to demonstrate this, if we take our gallon, we can also use it in a half-gallon amount. A half-gallon would be like the smaller jugs of milk or orange juice or something like that. So this is about a half-gallon. That is also known as a half-gallon is 2 quarts. So you might also get some containers that are kind of this shape. Sometimes you get like the things you add to coffee and whipping cream and things like that. This is 2 pints. And if I fill this all up to the top of its mark, this style of container doesn't go all the way to the top because it would spill when you opened it if you did that. You can now see I have taken out 1 quart, which is the same as 2 pints, which is the same as 4 cups. So this one here you can see it's 2 pints, which is the same as 1 quart, which is the same as 4 cups. Now sometimes you'll see a container much like this. This little guy is often what you see if you get heavy whipping cream or something like that. Now this one, if I fill it from my big gallon jug, I will see that this is only going to hold 1 pint. It is 2 cups worth or 1 pint. So here, 2 cups together makes 1 pint. I would need 2 of these in order to equal my 1 quart container. And this one most famously looks just like the milk containers that you see at school. And this contains exactly 1 cup. And so if I take out 1 cup of water from my gallon, I can see that my 1 cup is also going to be an equivalent to 8 fluid ounces. So here I have 1 cup, 2, 3 cups, 4, 5, 6, 7 cups, which means if I measured everything correctly, I should have 9 cups left in my gallon jug. Let's look and see. Oh, ha-ha! If I can hold it still, you can see that I have 9 cups remaining. So that I took out 7 cups means I have left behind 9. So all of these containers hold different amounts of this liquid measurement. And depending on how much I need at the store, sometimes I just want it measured in cups. I only need it in small quantities. Other times I want it measured in gallons because I need large quantities. Now, for example, if I am talking about a stream and how much water is flowing down that stream, I might talk about how many gallons per minute. Each gallon of water going down a stream would take up about as much space as a full basketball full of water. So if a stream is moving at 20 gallons per second, imagine 20 of these full moving past the same area per second. So what I use to measure it in is going to depend on what am I measuring. Now, if I continue going smaller, I will end up with fun little tiny graduated cylinders and little tiny eyedroppers. These are going to be used with much more detailed quantities of the liquid, and these are often found in laboratories and places where people are working with chemicals and working with small quantities of highly concentrated chemicals. So this is what we would call the customary measurement system, where there's gallons and cups and pints, and you have to remember how to convert all of them. So I have here a conversion chart, and on a conversion table, these can be extremely helpful, especially if you are looking in cookbooks and directions for food. They often are going to give you a conversion chart so that you can convert back and forth depending on how much of that liquid you need. Next up, I want to talk briefly about measuring in the metric system, where we will be using liters. I'm just going to move these things out of the way briefly. Here I have a series of graduated cylinders. Now, it doesn't mean that they have graduated, that they are somehow extra smart or anything like that. It just means that they have grades that have been marked on them showing quantities. So how much can be seen by looking at the marks on the cylinder. So we were just talking about Gallon Man and how it takes 16 cups to make a gallon, or 4 quarts to make a gallon, or 2 cups make 1 pint. There's a lot of numbers involved. In this case, we are going to look just at the metric measurement. Every one of these is a form of liter. A liter is the liquid measurement system that we're going to talk about next. So the question is, if I start with milliliters, which is the smallest measurement of graduated cylinder that I have here, and I fill in 10 milliliters, whoops, I seem to have a hard time measuring accurately today. I need to practice a bit more, I think. And I have a little bit more to go. When you measure, you are going to look at it directly sideways, and now I can see that I do in fact have 10 milliliters. 10 milliliters is a centiliter. So there are how many milliliters in a centiliter? 10. How many centiliters are in a deciliter? I'll give you a hint. It's a very simple system. 10. So if I fill this up 10 times, actually I think this one might be my easiest, milliliters. Okay, if I fill this up 10 times, see how very little that is? And I fill it up 9 more times, I will get to right here. Isn't that exciting? So here I have 100 milliliters. 100 milliliters can also be written as 10 centiliters, or this amount here can be written as, 10 deciliters. Everything's based on 10. So 10 times 10 is 100. Ooh. Times 10 again, and if I put 10 of these, I am going to end up with 1 liter. So I dump that in. That's 1/10 of a liter. And then I fill it all the way up. I then have 1,000 milliliters, which is the same as 100 centiliters, which is the same as 10 deciliters, which is 1 liter. Now, if I add 10 of these together, I'll get a deciliter. If I add 10 of those, I'll get a hectoliter. And if I add 10 of those, I'll get a kiloliter. Every single one of these based on the number 10. That's so much easier. All I have to do is move a decimal point, maybe multiply or divide, maybe add a couple zeros. Super easy. That's why scientists use the metric system. So in the classroom, I highly recommend using this material to help you review and work on liquid measurement conversions, or you can also do this at home. Cooking is one of the absolute best ways to work on measurement ever imagined by humankind. And especially if you are working with liquid measurement, you can make all kinds of fun and interesting liquid foods. For example, I have a recipe here for bug juice. The gallons on this one is quite large, so you might even want to reduce this a little bit. It takes a ½ gallon of cranberry juice, 8 cups of orange juice, 4 quarts of lemon lime soda, 8 pints of water, 16 cups of grape juice, and the answer is 4 gallons total there. How much altogether? 4. So you could also work a little bit with fractions. You could reduce that down. If you only wanted 1 gallon, which again is going to be this much bug juice instead of 4 of these, then you could work on your division and try to use what you know to convert these measurements to reduce or to scale up your recipes. So again, best way to practice on any kind of measurements and conversions, bake or build. Those are my favorites. Have a really fun time. Be careful if you are working in the kitchen, and enjoy doing some applied math.